Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to talk a little bit about the stomach muscles. And let me start that as an introduction because I want to take that part of our program, we're going to separate it. So if you want to just look at the different techniques, that's what this is all about. So what we're going to talk about right now are how we can see the stomach muscles. I know many gentlemen who have six-packs that they carry around with them all the time, and it's not the six-pack muscles, it's more the bellies. And they've got strong stomach muscles, but you can't see them. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what kind of sit-ups you do. These muscles here are going to be too small to burn off the weight. So we want to burn off the weight both underneath the stomach muscles as well as on the surface. And we do that with aerobic activities. So we've got to do the aerobics to really increase the metabolic processes, and we want to do them in sessions as repetitions so that we can burn off the glucose and sugars in the bloodstream and then continue to place a demand on the muscles and so that we will burn off more fuel. We call it the white adipose tissue. So again, getting on the Cellerciser, we're going to start off with aerobics because that's how you're going to start to burn off the weight if you happen to have some weight here. And that's, again, do the warm-up, which is great. And then repetitions. Remember, the biggest muscles of the body have the greatest demand for fuel. They're located in the thighs and the buttocks. So we're going to learn to love and hate the Jamba run or Jamba walk. But holding on to that balance bar here, we're just pushing down into the mat. And that pushing down is going to work these muscles. And you're going to feel it. And when you do, and they get tired, then you stop, gently bounce up and down, lift the calf muscle up to feed more oxygen. The body needs oxygen to burn off the fuel and to utilize nutrients. So we're bouncing up and down, lifting the heels up and down, and we're priming these muscles with more circulation so that we can burn off the fuel. So then we get back and now we're doing it again. That's going to be the fastest way to burn off the excess weight. You can do additional things that help burn off the weight and start to also strengthen these muscles here. And you can't do it on anything effectively other than a Cellerciser. You certainly don't want to try this on a treadmill or on the ground because it would hurt the back. But when you're lifting your knees straight up, you're working all these muscles at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a high knee run or sprint, and that's going to work core, and that will work the core. But if you want it to be even more efficient or effective to get to these muscles, then we're going to run in place and tilt slightly backwards so we leverage the body weight right here. So it's more weight bearing, and that's going to build these muscles all the way up and down the whole stomach wall because you're leveraged this whole body. Yes, you're lifting the knees up and now you're tilting. The moment you tilt, all of these muscles have a lot more weight on them. And that's another step to do both combination of aerobic as you're losing weight and the isotonic or building of those muscles. And you can do it slower, you can do it fast. If you do it fast, you're going to eat up the glucose and sugars faster. You're going to increase metabolic processes faster. Your body's going to learn faster how to access and burn those excess stored fuel. So this, just as we go. And if you're tilting, you won't go as fast as if you're leaning forward. But the objective, if you're working on the stomach muscle, is to work here. Now we can add more leverage to develop the muscles even faster. And this is how I did it. Is you can hold on to that balance bar, tilt backwards slightly, so all the muscles tense up. You can feel your muscles, they're tight the moment you tilt. From underneath your chin, if you hold your head up a little bit, all the way down the whole front part of the body, it's like a board underneath. All those muscles, you're coming down with weight on them at that angle. You're going to become strong in an ultra position. So it's just kicking the legs up like this. And as you're doing it, hold on to that bar for balance. But that is a lot more intense than just doing that, because you have more weight you've leveraged. For the side of the stomach muscles, you can kick out side to side for the obliques, but you can also kick off at a 45-degree angle. So instead of just kicking out straight in front of you, you kick out to the side of the bone. Now you've leveraged the weight more along the side wall of the stomach muscles. And that works. So kicking out just like this, instead of like this, you're working, you can feel it when you put your hands on these muscles. That's pretty intense. To strengthen the side muscle, now keep in mind, I'm focusing on different areas, but just by bouncing, it's doing it anyway. If you're doing a sit-up, you're only working a certain group of muscles that are doing the lifting. But when you Cellercise, you alter the angle. You're working those muscles, but you're also working every other muscle all at the same time. They're all having to work on the resistance, and that's what makes it, again, so efficient. And it's fun. You hold on to that balance bar again, and you've seen me do this. It's kicking out side to side. And as you kick out side to side, you can lean a little bit, and it leverages more weight right here. So I can do it just by standing straight up. I'm still working it. You'll feel it. But if you slightly lean, you leverage more weight on that whole area of the body. And it's an awesome technique. Okay, to strengthen, let's talk about strengthening the muscles with the sit and bounce. And this comes back especially to women if you've had several children, you have a prolapse that you're dealing with, as long as it hasn't torn, and usually that's not the case. But if you have any question, again, consult with your doctor. But generally, this area can get stretched out, especially if you've had several children. So what we want to do is not just have the vertical movement. We want to sit down and sit back slightly so we have a little additional support. We're still going to work on this whole wall. So it's done. Can they see me okay, Brooklyn, when I sit down here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So we start off, these are graduated movements that are extremely effective. I think personally they will blow any ab machine out of the water, but you want to approach it gently. One of the advantages of Cellercise, you play on it, it works on you. So just have fun on it and watch what happens. It's kind of a natural progression. So you can put your hands right by your hips to help support your back when you first begin. And as you sit backwards, tilt backwards just slightly, all these muscles, if you tilt, you can feel them. They're tight. That's great. Now you're going to help support the back and gently bounce up and down. This is all being done with the stomach muscles. I'm not pushing with my hands. I'm just helping to support my back. Your feet are on the ground. As you tilt backwards, you can do this watching TV. You are working those muscles from the inside out, not just surface muscles, from the inside out. So as you get stronger, just take away your hands and continue to bounce. You're using your arms now. You're working the upper body and the chest muscles. As you tilt backwards slightly, all these muscles are working hard to keep you going, and that's what we want. Now, as we continue to get stronger, we lean back a little further, lift up one leg. You just leverage the weight right there in the lower abdominals, where is exactly where you want to work. And notice you're sitting back some, so you don't just have the vertical movement up and down. So that allows the inside of all the fascia, the connective tissues, to firm up as well. Now, when that leg gets tired, lift up the other leg. And you can go back and forth, and if you need to support your back a little bit, support your back some. But as you get stronger, you lift up both feet, and you can bounce a little higher. And this is all working with these stomach muscles as well. As you continue to get stronger, now you can go in and out, or up and down. And in that up and down, if you want to work more of the upper muscle, you can lie down further. So you just lie down this direction, and same thing. So there's two ways of doing that. Now you can pull the legs in or lift the legs up. Irrespective, it's not like a typical leg lift because you're bouncing, which means you're putting more weight on those muscles without having to lift weights or put weights on your ankles or behind your head. You're just doing it naturally. And it's more of a natural strength that doesn't just target only those muscles. It's targeting all the supporting muscles around that area as well. And we have a lot of injuries from people that have over exercised one part of the body, and it makes the body out of balance. But Cellercise, you're always exercising in a balanced state. Even though you alter the angle of your body, it's still going to become strong. But it becomes strong in an altered position. So again, it's just like this. You can pull the knees toward you or do it up and down. But you'll eventually feel it right there. So those are some of the movements that will strengthen the abdominals significantly on the Cellerciser. And of course, if you want to work on the obliques, you may have seen me do this one too. And this is all on the Mr. Rebounder app. If you tilt backwards and you're bouncing up and down, if you want to go cheek to cheek. Now you're working the obliques. Both sides of the stomach wall. And that's a good one too. So, all of those. When you're done, I always recommend get on the Cellerciser and just do a gentle twist. Just to help restore balance in those muscle areas. So I hope that answers the questions. It's very effective. It does build up the stomach wall, and we want to burn off fuel. We do the Jamba run or the running, several repetitions of it. So we're burning off glucose and sugars and burning off the white adipose tissue.